Hey guys, hey, happy Friday this time. Happy Friday. Welcome to Flourish Talks. My name is Olivia Thomas. I am your host, the founder of Busy Girls Brunch and Wintentional Consulting, helping you and your business flourish. So I'm super excited about who I'm talking to today. Um, we met maybe 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, when I was doing video work. Me and my husband, he's husband now, but then he was just partner. We're doing video work, and and we met in an organization that I was doing work for, which was exciting. And we just kind of stuck together. So you ever meet somebody who just sticks with your mind and your heart? So this is her. Like Chrisheena is that person. We've worked together for her brand and her business. We've just been friends this entire time. So she's a person who I think is ambitious and amazing, and I think she helps a lot of people with her work. So instead of me telling you about her, I'm gonna let her tell you about her. So here she is. Hey, lady.
Hey, love, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, it's so good to see you.
Listen,
I
yeah,
miss
dude, I miss you so much. It's kind of crazy that I haven't seen you in like a
you.
year at the very least, but it is what it is. We still have the internet.
Yeah.
Um, so I said what I said about you. I think you're amazing, and I've obviously held on to you for the last half decade.
Yeah.
Um, please tell everyone who you are and what you do.
And also how that she is stuck with me for the rest of her life.
Got it.
No matter.
That's it.
however,
No big.
see, we're stuck. That's just how it is. But as I like to call her O, as O said, we have known each other for many years, and she has helped me along the way, and I love her and appreciate her for it. I am a certified life coach of ICU, which is life coaching. We provide life coaching services to help everyone through spiritual and personal development, as they are on, as I have coined the term, their butterfly process. So have been that for about, I got certified. It's 5 years. 5 years ago, I became officially certified. 2015. I have been on this butterfly process road ever since. Not only do I do that, which is under ICU, but ICU has now grown into some other avenues. So we have ICU education, um, educational consultant and counselor for high school students, and helping them transition into college and taking them through college preparation. And from there, we have a mentoring program where we mentor them and see them all the way through college. So it's definitely exciting. So ICU has grown. So ICU, education, ICU mentoring. Beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Jocelyn's in the comments saying, yes, Chrissy. Yes, Chrissy. I know. I gotta have Jocelyn on here. I love her. So Jocelyn, I'm gonna call you. So let's talk about the butterfly process, right? So obviously we know how butterflies work, but I think you do an interesting thing in comparing the butterfly process, or the process that the butterfly goes through, to the process that people go through
Yeah.
in their own life and growth. So tell me about the butterfly process.
Okay, so a lot of times you'll hear people just talk about the butterfly in terms of changing and transitioning. You see the caterpillar, you see the butterfly talking to one another, and that's about it. They don't really
Mm-hmm.
all stages, because there's 4 stages to a butterfly, not just two. So the
Right.
first stage, the egg. So I like to call that the who am I stage. So with the egg process, trying to figure out who you are and whose you are. Not only that, but that's where we're really heavy on self-esteem and self-confidence. What do you believe? What are your values? We're talking about affirmations, and we're also talking about vision. So that's the whole process for that particular stage. Then we transition on to the caterpillar stage, where it's nothing but where the caterpillar, they eat, they grow, and they shed. So in terms of us as humans, what are we doing? The eating is just more or less gleaning. That's when you have your mentors and you're learning and you're gleaning and getting information from different people. Sometimes it feels that you're stuck because you don't see your growth, but you are actually, grown and stretched and extended. So you're growing, right? But also in the midst of you growing and learning new things, and your mind is expanding, and getting new information about who you are and where you are in life. You're shedding that dead skin. You're shedding that dead weight. You're shedding those things that no longer serve you for where you're going. So once you get from that process, you move on to your cocoon stage, right? So that is the place that I like to say, just you and God. You do the final shedding. You've learned from all these people. Now God is saying, it's my time to deal with you. So when people think you're not doing anything, they think that you're not moving. Like what are you doing? You're moving in silence. This is the time where you're getting your next assignment from God, what He wants to do. So He's doing side work on you, and then when He says you're ready, you got to push through. It may be lonely because it's difficult. No one can help you through your process, through you breaking free out of that cocoon, because if they do, they could hinder you from your next growth process, which is the butterfly. You don't want them to damage your wings, right? So you push through by yourself. So it's going to feel lonely. It's going to feel tough. It's going to be hard. But once you finally do break through, you are flying like the butterfly. You are flying in your purpose. So you're living that life of purpose, on purpose, and fulfilling your God-given assignment and what He wants you to do.
Man. Okay. So I love that. And here's why I love that, right? Even the idea of coming out of the cocoon, and how like sometimes you really have to kind of do it by yourself. Like you can obviously do it with other people's like coaxing and coaching and all those different things. But it's such a personal process.
Yes.
That's I love the acknowledgement of that, and how like you're helping people to navigate their personal process, as opposed to saying like, this is what you do.
Right. No, it's just automatically just guiding, right? Guiding and encouraging them on their journey. I can't, I can't fold back the cocoon and poke holes in it and break it out for you, but I can encourage you while you're doing it. I can motivate you. I can uplift you. I can life into you and not death, I see you, right? I see you and I know you're struggling, right? But it's going to be so worth it in the end. It's going to be worth that push, because you'll appreciate and you'll appreciate that other side even, so much more.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So I mean, like, what are the signs of the stages? Like, how can someone tell they're in this part, or they're feeding, or they're cocooned, or they're becoming the butterfly? What are the signs of the stages?
And that's a really good question. I've been asked that question on multiple times. There's a workshop I did in someone because they felt they were in multiple stages. So I'll give you an example. Like when I first meet clients, a consultation, we do a strategic planning session, and in the midst of them talking, they kind of reveal themselves on where they are. So let's just say, I come to you for somebody comes to me for some services, and they just want to transition into job or something like that, right? But they're having some difficulty, can help and encourage that way. Okay, but why is it difficult for you to get a new job? Have you asked for that raise? Have you done this? Have you done that? 9 times out of 10, they may feel timid, or they may feel shy. They're not ready. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that education, by your education, that you're not prepared. It could mean that your confidence level is not there. You may not feel that you want it, right? Because you see other people or financial reasons that you want it. but you may be struggling asking for it or taking that leap. So now we have to peel back the layers and we may have to start at the beginning. Let's build up your confidence, right? Maybe you don't really believe in that ability of yours, right? So let's work on that who you are and who you are, and that you do have power and that you can go after this and accomplish it despite what other people may have told you. Um, so we may have to take a step back to propel you forward, right? Others, some people just feel stuck. I don't feel like, I'm doing all these things, but I've been stuck in this position or I've been stuck in this place for so long. 9 times out of 10, you could be in a caterpillar stage, right?
Mm,
Because they don't see their growth, right? You
right.
don't see, don't feel it, right? That's not the best place to be in life. It's not a
Mm,
good feeling. I've been there, because prior to the whole butterfly, I used to talk about being stuck on the couch, right? So that's just phase. But you're gleaning from others, you're learning, you're absorbing, you're taking all of this information in.
mm,
So you may not physically feel like you're growing, but mentally, spiritually, you are growing and developing, which is going to be needed for your next phase. When you feel that you are, um, when I told one of my clients, I said they can't sleep at night, right? They're at this phase where they're not sleeping too much at night. They keep waking in the middle of the night. And I probably say that's probably God trying to get your attention because he can't get your attention during the day. You're not making that time for him during the day. So he's probably trying to get your attention to speak with you. And that's the only time that you are still enough and nothing is happening around you. So they're at where, we're talking about is that they're at that cocoon stage. God is trying to get your attention. He wants to with you and talk to you and prepare for your next stage. So there's different things happen in people's lives where you can kind of tell what stage
awesome.
they're
That
in.
is awesome. I love it. I feel like everyone. So 2020 has been kind of a really weird year. Everyone knows that. Um, it's been revealing. Um,
Yes.
and I always kind of like joke about how everyone's talking about 2020 being the year of vision and all these different things, and a lot of people feel like that's not the case because of all that's been happening. But I feel like there are people who kind of recognize the shake away, right? Like the things being moved so we can see more clearly about our priorities and really kind of a shift that's happening
Yeah.
for everybody. And I mean, like, I feel like kind of everybody's in the somewhere between caterpillaring and cocooning because we're quite literally, I mean, like, not as much as before, we're quite literally like stuck in a place.
Yes.
So, like, how would you kind of like advise people to take advantage of this time now?
Oh my goodness. There's so many things. So one, because the interaction with people are less,
Mm,
the physical interaction, not the video we're calling, but the physical interaction of people are less. And before the world
mm,
opened up a bit, right, when we were all shut in our homes, basically going out to the market for your needs, and that's about it. Some people realize I don't like my own company, right?
yeah,
Um, who am I really? Who am I without people? Who am I without physically going to work? Some people lost their job. So who am I without titles?
yeah,
So
ooh,
you got to go back to the basics, right? Loving yourself, to know you without being around people, liking you, loving on you, figuring out who you are without titles because you may have lost your job, you know. Other people have taken this time to do a lot of personal development and spiritual development, reading books, watching TED Talks and seminars and everybody's been doing webinars, right? Offering free webinars and free development, right, during this time, because they know,
yeah,
the economic system is affecting many people, right? So a lot of people have been taking this time for development, which is great. You have the time for it. Why not do it? So what stage is that? That's that caterpillar stage, right? Gleaning and learning. Because now this is an opportunity where, because things are calm, you have time. You can't say you don't have time.
Yeah.
You have time. So some people are getting back into, building family again, sitting around the table, cooking more, right? So all that development stages, right? Then you have some people who may live on their own.
Yeah.
Right? Who love the interactions, but now this is their time where they're by themselves. So, like I said, God trying to get your attention, you're not distracted by anyone. He's still the world on purpose, Peace be still, sit down, be in your homes, open up the word, talk to me. I want to talk to you. Listen, so they're in that stage, and a lot of people, I'm excited for what I've seen thus far in 2020. New vision has been birthed. Businesses have been birthed. And that's that time where it's like, oh, I now have the time to be still. God is talking to me, put pen to paper. Again, those visions, those missions, those new businesses, new books, new opportunities. The people during this time. So they're growing, right? So 2021, I'm excited to actually see. I mean, it's starting now, but I'm actually excited to see everything that's going to be birthed, and come into fruition, and how many butterflies that we actually have in this world, right? Because now everybody's going to be, living out their purpose if they have taken advantage of this time.
Right. That's a big if. But hopefully, I mean, we're still here, right? And we're probably going to have a second wave with the world opening up the way it is.
Right. And with flu season. Yeah. So if you
flu season,
you got the time to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I completely forgot about flu season. I'm not going anywhere ever. Like,
yeah.
No.
Okay.
Like all day. Like seriously. Like, hi, 6 feet, no pressure. No big deal. It's such a mess. Life is such a mess. But it is a good mess. It's a cleansing mess.
Yes, it's a cleansing mess. It's a beautiful mess,
Mm-hmm.
a matter of how you
Yeah, it's so real. And I mean, like, even the idea of mess, now that I'm thinking about it, like, when you're like really trying to organize and you pull everything out and then you like put it all together. I feel like that's just kind of what's happening right now, like in the world. And like, we just, have the opportunity to take advantage of it or not.
And I'm like, take advantage of it. Don't let this time be wasted.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. People are excited to get back out in the world and see family and friends. And, even though we're supposed to be social distancing, some people don't. But take advantage of the stillness. Take advantage of quarantine and social distancing and use it for your advantage, because you never know what's on the other side of it.
Yeah, it's so true, especially economically. Like, you don't know, like, what's going to happen. Like, people keep saying how your side hustle is your job security, and it's like, yep, it really is, because you really can't guarantee that whatever company you're working for is going to continue to need you.
Yeah, COVID helped me.
Girl, yeah, we'll talk about it. So one of the things that is kind of a hot topic right now are kids in school. So you work with high school seniors who are transitioning to college and figuring out their lives and really determining where they are within their own process. So obviously schools have kind of been like a toss up, and like, opening, not opening, campus, home, doing online classes on campus in your dorm. Like
Yeah.
it's so much. Like how has it been working with the kids?
A lot of in the beginning of everything, working with some seniors, it was a lot of disappointment because there was no senior activities.
Oh,
So
babies.
a lot of disappointment, a lot of uncertainty, what's going to happen. Um, and those are my caterpillars. Those are, I call them my caterpillars, like my logo for them. For the coaching, it's the butterfly. It's the butterfly in the hand. ICU is the butterfly in the hand. But for them, ICU education is a caterpillar in the hand, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with it more delicately, and realizing that they're all in developmental stages, right? But it was disappointing for them. No senior activities, a little bit of hesitation, and anxiety on what's going to be next for them as far as school wise. Um,
Mm-hmm.
are grants still going to be available? Taking the SATs,
Mm,
ACTs, all that was canceled. Um, what is it going to be like my freshman year? Am I going to be on campus? Am I not going to be on campus? How is
yeah.
it going to reopen up? Am I, I plan to be on campus. I paid money. How does that work? What does that look like? Am I going to get my money back? Is the tuition going to be cut in half? All of those things, right? Now, dealing with the schools opening back up, there are some colleges that their campuses are open, right? And the students have taken advantage of that, and some
Okay.
not for a good reason. Some of them have not been social distancing. Some of them have not been taking the necessary precautions. But that's student free, right? That's young adults who have been in the
Yeah.
house, kept up in the house. Now, the institutions, they have put certain things in place. Distancing, if you see on news,
Mm-hmm.
know, inside of the building, outside of the buildings, where all the students are, the big things on college campuses right now. Some of the dorms are not
Mm-hmm.
all full capacity. I
Oh.
know a friend of mine, she took her daughter back to school, but she's off campus in an apartment. Some of her things, her class are virtual. She doesn't have to go into an actual classroom for everything, but she's
Okay.
also an engineer, so that's important to be hands on and being in the classroom. As
Yeah.
far as the high school,
I think you're kind of breaking up. No, I think I lost you. Yep.
but
Yep. All right. So, now Sheena, I want to text her,
one of the
and
time,
maybe she's still there. That's weird. I'm gonna text her and see if she can log back on. Oops. All right, guys. Pardon the technical difficulties. No, it is. All right. Be right back.
am I back? I know, Mom, the internet. I'm trying my best. It says I'm connected again.
Okay. No. Okay. I think, let's see, 3, 2, 1. Hey, are you back? You're frozen. Are you there? I love technical difficulties. That's great. Good times. Oh, well, you look cute in your frozen picture. We're almost there, guys. You're moving. I see you. And you're gone. All right. I'm going to make this work. It's going to happen.
Yes. Yes.
I hear you. I see you.
See me.
And I hear you.
All right. So we're good.
We're good. We
Woo!
were good. We're good. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Awesome. Say it again.
I said I'm not sure what part it cut off on.
You were talking about the engineering student who is on campus, but
Yeah.
or sorry, she has an apartment, but she's doing digital.
Yes, but some of her classes will be in person, but not all.
Okay, that's a
So
lot.
it's just yeah. So it's just all a matter of paying attention. I mean, the educators, the teachers, the institutions, college and high school, they're taking it day by day
Yeah,
at the same. So it's just being patient. I mean, as difficult as that may be, but just being patient, watching the news, paying attention to your school's website, paying attention to the district announcements and things like that. And just being on it. You have to be on top of it. So,
yeah, it's so
and it's
real.
hard too.
It is.
This is new for everybody. This is not anything that was planned. The only people that are doing okay are the cyber schools that were already in place. For those
That's
who weren't cyber schools, or didn't already have hybrid things already put in place, they're learning just like you. So
yeah, yeah. It's all like a lot of my friends are educators, and kind of the way they're really trying to create something that actually works, and all the personal development that professional development that they've been doing, because it's the beginning of the school year, and just kind of the things that they're working through have been extremely interesting. And honestly, like, kudos to anybody who is in the education space at all and working with kids at all, because the curriculum itself is hard to kind of like put out there, but then also kids are hard
yeah,
because they're little blank slates, um and you're still trying to navigate, helping them to navigate, like,
right.
so honestly, kudos to all of you.
Right, most definitely. And it's not easy. And you also think for the teachers that now have to things that they would do in person, right? For their
Yeah,
curriculum and projects
yeah,
and visuals. Now somehow mysteriously have to become virtual. How does that work? What does that look like? How can I convey the same thing? You have
mm,
students who have different learning styles. So, how can I, as an educator, as a teacher, now being virtual, build out this curriculum or teach this curriculum that fits each and every student? They can only see me through a computer.
yeah,
How do I do that? So it's tough, you know. So grace needs to go a long way, right? And then for that student, they're usually in front of a screen being entertained through games,
mhm,
YouTube, through TV and movies. Education is not so much entertaining, right? So my attention span may be lost after a while. So then it's like the education.
yeah,
How do I keep their attention? Do I offer breaks in between? how many breaks do I have so they can go away and then come back?
Yeah.
It's a lot of things to consider and maneuver, but it's just offering grace. And
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so real. So the last thing we were talking about was kids transitioning to school
yeah,
in this period of just like there's actually a lot of things going on, right? So there's COVID, but then there's also, social and civil and racial unrest. There's a lot that's actually happening that can be on kids' minds.
yeah.
Um, and as parents, as teachers, as mentors, as anyone who's like really interacting with kids, like we have to be thinking about how to help them navigate all the things. I personally realized that my son on TikTok is hearing a lot of like 60-second explanations of things. And it's like, I know you want to rage right now, kid. I get it. But like, there's still some maintenance that we have to do and some things that we have to be thinking about for a longer term results and for you individually to be okay to help whatever's happening out there. So I mean, like, just starting with COVID, right? Baseline, because that's our baseline now, which is crazy. Like how are we supposed to help the transitioning kids who are going back to school, going to college? Like, how are we supposed to help them?
One, I would say, create that relationship where you can have open and honest communication. This is not the season nor the generation where you can just fool them. They can spot a fake and a phony within a matter of seconds. They know when you're lying and they know when you're being truthful and they know when you're being honest. Yeah. So I always just say, have that real and honest communication. Let it come from the household first before they learn it and hear about it someplace else. Because like you said, your son is getting, just clips of information from TikTok and not getting the full story, right? Yeah. So why not the full story come from you? What is COVID? How can it affect us? What do I have to do? What should you be aware of? What should you be paying attention to? Why, hygiene and just basic hygiene of washing hands is important. Why wearing the mask is important. Because again, with those short clips and, with our people in DC and in the White House may say otherwise, masks aren't important and all those things that we've heard. So you just want to make sure that it comes from the household first.
Yeah. That's so real. That's so real. I mean, so even as you're dealing with students who are again transitioning to college, who are kind of like out into the real world, like quote unquote real world, right? Because college is still a bubble.
It is, but it isn't, because especially now, when you were in the confines of your home environment, right? When you were with your parents, they were trying to teach you how to be responsible, but they still had your back, right? So if you forgot something, they were there to remind you. Whether it was a parent, whether it was a guardian, whomever you lived with prior to transitioning to college, you still had protection, right? Yeah. Somebody there to remind you if you forgot to do something, right? When you transition to college now, there's no one there to remind you of what you should and shouldn't do. You may hear their voice in the back of your mind, but there's no one physically there for that reminder. No one yelling at you because you didn't do certain things, right? And now part of being a resident on a college campus is you have to have your own thermometer, right? You're supposed to take your temperature. And now I'm not sure if all schools are doing this, but I do know of some. You're supposed to take your temperature and put it in a database, that day, so they know that you're okay and that you can enter into certain school buildings because you're symptom free. or at least temperature free. Your temperature is okay. So again, you have to begin to take responsibility for your actions. Your parents and your guardians are not there to say, hey, social distance, make sure you're wearing your mask. Don't go into a group or in a crowd where people aren't being safe. It's not that you're just protecting yourself, you're protecting other people as well by doing what you're supposed to do: hand washing, hand sanitizing, temperature checking, social distance. So now the responsibility falls on you. You now have to be responsible for yourself. If you weren't responsible before, you definitely have to be responsible now.
So you're going to learn today.
Listen, because you're not going to come back in this household affecting us because you wanted to be irresponsible.
Right. That's so scary.
So, yeah. It's real. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's real.
Yeah.
People are dying, people are being sick, people are affecting their households. Not necessarily on purpose, right? Yeah. You don't know who we're in interaction with, but you have to do and control what you can control.
Yeah. It's funny. I didn't think about that with college students for whatever reason, but like, yeah, you definitely are out there with like a bunch of people and you have a kid who is supposed to be responsible or learning responsibility.
Right. Like when I was in school, I didn't have to worry about this. I just had to make sure I was responsible for getting up on time. That was my main thing, setting the alarm clock and getting used to not hitting snooze and going back to sleep, because my mom wasn't going to say, hey, you hit the snooze button too many times, you're late, let's go. That was my learning how to be responsible.
Yeah.
Now you have to worry about your alarm clock, but you also have to worry about temperature check.
So much. So, how are kids even supposed to, like, it's overwhelming. Even hearing about it right now is kind of overwhelming, right? Because like you said, like when we were in school, it was wake up, go to class, get good grades, socialize, go back to your dorm, go back to your home.
Right. We want you to socialize. We want you to, join groups and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like there's so many more things to kind of think about. And I guess like how do you help kids navigate, or how do you encourage kids to navigate these things without becoming overwhelmed, right? Because like educational, I'm going to call it depression. Educational, like mental health issues are a thing.
Right.
Because of like the pressure and the transitions and all those things. But now there's like an underlying and new layer to all of it. So like how do you encourage kids to like, yes, this is important. But this is how you take care of yourself in the midst of all the things as well.
One of the things that I would definitely say, yes, they have the extra pressure, not just of, I'm out here on my own, not just that, college is a step above high school with some other challenges, but also with this underlying COVID, like you said. So that is a lot of pressure that one has to learn. And then also dealing with, new people, making friends, building new relationships. I like to say having a discerning spirit, but knowing who you can trust and who you can't trust. There's a lot that's happening during that transitional time of college, right? So one of the things that I always suggest is if you are in college with friends, communicate with your tribe. You're not in it by yourself. You have people that are here to support you, whether it's your tribe on campus that are your friends from high school, that you can talk to or socialize with. Utilize your tribe at home. Call them. Be honest. Let them know if you're having trouble, and then also, I know many people, and it's a taboo to go to counseling or to therapy, but they do have people on campus that can talk to you and help you navigate during this time of, transitioning, because it can be overwhelming. So I know the first time I went to counseling or ever experienced counseling was my freshman year of college. I was overwhelmed. I was dealing with relationships that were not so great. And I needed to, I could talk to my friends and I could talk to family, but they saw it from one perspective. I needed someone with a, objective perspective to actually help me navigate. And that was, the best help that I could receive. So I would definitely say talk. Do not be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. It does not just go for, getting help in school or in class. It goes for life as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's so much. So another thing that kids are kind of dealing with in a way that we didn't necessarily have to deal with until like the last days of college, which is crazy, right? Because like there's never been a time when racism was not a thing. There's never been a time when racism was not a thing, especially if you went to a PWI, for a fact. Like, it's a thing, and it's quiet, and it's dog whistle, and it's it's gaslighting. It's a lot of different things that are happening. So now there's the very personal things that are happening where you kind of have to deal with it yourself. But we have social media, we have cameras. Like a lot of news is being disseminated faster and more frequently than it ever has been. So now we're seeing a lot of things that were happening much more vividly, unfortunately.
It is in your face, and you have no choice but to deal with it.
Yeah, like seriously, and like it's egregious, right? Because you see death.
Yes,
you see death, and like that right there it's traumatizing unto itself. And then you see the responses to death, and then that makes you kind of question everything, right? So now these kids are transitioning into these new places and adulting, and so not only do they have to deal with the underlying pandemic that is global and known, but they have to deal with the consistent pandemic of
trauma,
very overt, public, traumatic racism, right? So like, what are the kids saying, and what are you saying to them?
Right. It kind of varies on, who you're talking to, what age group you're dealing with. Do they know that it's happening? Are they aware? Yes. Depending on the age, do they understand why? The younger ones, not necessarily. Not knowing all about systematic, racism, because they are unaware and not educated on the history.
Yeah.
Just in February, right? During Black History Month, right? We have this month, right? Where schools are supposed to or implement teaching Black history, right? So this place that I was working at during that time, I wanted them to do a project. And I said, I want all of you to work together, do some research on known figures, right? That you all can put together a slideshow and present it to your parents when we have this presentation day, right?
Yeah.
Give me someone or give me something that you don't hear about in school, right? Not your normal. Can you name anyone that's not the normal figures that we would hear about? Do you know any of the historical moments that shaped our history outside of the ones that you learn in school during that month. I don't want to hear about Martin Luther King. Not that he wasn't great, but you learn about him. I don't want to hear about Rosa Parks. Not that she's great, but that's always not Frederick Douglass. Not that he's not great, not just the Montgomery boycott, right? Not just that. Give me something else. What do you know about, right?
Yeah.
And they can't.
Yeah.
It's all about what they know. So when you now fast forward to 2020, right? And this is their time or their generation where it's now in front of their face. This is not the 1940s and the 1950s, right? It's during their time of childhood or adulthood or young adulthood, right? They don't understand where it came from. Why is it the way that it is? What is systematic racism? I just know if people don't like me because of the color of my skin, but it goes much deeper than that. So it's all about education. Now that you're in college, right? You're 18. You cannot have the excuse that I did not know, because you are at the age where you can read. You are at the age where you can do research, right? You can't just blame mom and dad didn't teach me, or I didn't learn it in school. You now can take ownership and do your own teaching and do your own research, right? Utilize the social media of TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Like Angela Davis, she's on Facebook. I just, maybe about 2 months ago, I was just watching a live with her being interviewed, right? And gaining some wisdom and some knowledge of some things that I didn't know about, right? But I took ownership in that responsibility. But not just putting it off on the youth and the young adults, but also with the younger ones in the household. Don't just push everything under the rug. Have those hard conversations, because if you don't, the world is going to teach them, right? And you want to make sure that the information is accurate and that they are knowledgeable enough to know to stand up for themselves, knowledgeable enough to know what the law is. So if they are stopped by a police officer, right, they don't have to say, yes, you can search. If, can I search your car? You can say no, right?
Yeah.
But if they are not aware of those simple things, right? Those simple laws, and out of fear, they say yes because they feel that they're going to get in trouble. Where does that leave them?
Yeah.
It opens them up to experience some things, you never know if something can be planted or not planted because they said yes out of fear, right? So it's all about the awareness, being honest, having those hard conversations. Of course, make it, your child, what they can handle, what they can't handle, right? Yeah. But just being real, just being honest. This is the world that they live in. There was, and I was trying to think of the young man's name, because if you don't know, you don't know. What is it? The young man named Kyle, 17, walking down the street with a gun. He just killed 2 people.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, you can't carry a gun at the age of 17. You have to be at least 18 years of age, right? It's real. So you can't say it's always going to be an adult, grown-ups that may, do certain things to them or present social unjust to them. It's people their own age, people that are in their schools, who are corrupted, who think it's okay to not like you just because of the color of your skin. Not that they really have a reason. It's just that my parents don't like you. So I don't like you.
It's like no reason. Just yeah. Yeah.
So my whole thing is just be honest, just be real. Have those conversations. Don't be scared to have those conversations, with your children.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to experience it on their own before they're taught anything,
Right.
how to protect themselves, what to do, when maybe presented by a police officer, whether walking, whether in a car, how to, protect yourselves or protect those around you, what to look for, what to pay attention to. I was just teaching teenagers, right? Middle school and high schoolers, we call it like a teen transformation program. One of the things we talked about was situational awareness, environmental awareness. We love our phones so much, and we love technology and we love social media that we're in it, but not paying attention to what's happening around us as we're walking down the street, as we're driving. And then you're like, oh, well, when did that happen? Or, well, where did you come from? The cop been following you for how long? And you weren't paying attention because you were in your phone. You have to open your eyes and pay attention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
It's whenever Dylan goes anywhere, and he's like, "Mom, can I wear my headphones?" And I'm like, "Nope, sorry." And I am sorry, because there really isn't a reason that he shouldn't be able to wear his headphones and just be a kid and just like enjoy being on the street and things like that. But if he's not aware of his surroundings and who's there and his behaviors and to act normal, like, and there's a lot of like respectability politics in that, right? Where it's like almost as if you can control the situation, but it's like you really have to figure out all the ways to do what you can, because there's so much that's outside of your control.
Right. I want you to be a kid, right? And I want you to have fun, but at the same time, I need you to be grown up in this aspect, and it's difficult, and you really have to find the balance. So, you have to, as a family or as a household, still create some sense of normalcy, still do things together as a family, still have those times where he can just be a kid and enjoy being a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Because the world is not going to treat him like a kid. They're going to treat him like a grown man, right?
Yeah.
So you want to just, it's easier said than it is done, but just creating that sense of normalcy as much as you can.
Yeah, seriously. I was on social media this morning, and somebody was like posting about her business and just kind of like going, and kind of going about her business, and somebody was in her comments and they were like it's almost like you're not aware of what's going on. And I thought that was so interesting, because it was like, why should she stop doing something progressive, something that like creates normalcy for her and her family? Like, I thought it was interesting, and I think there are a lot of different opinions about that, where it's just like you kind of have to go very hard, all encompassingly into the hard things, but like, yeah.
They always say, like one of the things that people say, like if you're silent, then you're kind of giving an answer. I forgot. I can't think of the exact wording, but your like, silence is still an answer, right? And I was having this conversation, and I can't remember who I was having a conversation with, but that's why purpose, I think, is so important, right? Understanding your purpose. All of us are not meant to be on the front lines, right? All of us are not meant to be out protesting. If some people were on the front lines protesting, as we have seen, they can hinder it with the main reason why we're there and cause other things And that's how the riots break out, because they weren't meant to be at that protest. They weren't meant to be on the front line. So my purpose, right, is an educator, right, is a motivator, is an encourager, right? So I may not be out on the front lines, but I'm educating the youth and young adults that I deal with, right? Let me tell you what systematic racism is. Let me tell you why you have to get out of your phone a little bit more and pay attention to and have situational and environmental awareness, right? So that teacher, they're supposed to teach about what's happening, right? Also, as an encourager and as a motivator, I'm helping, there's a lot of secondary trauma that's happening, right? People who are so engrossed in the news and what's happening that even though they don't know these people personally, but because they're watching it over and over again, they are experiencing secondary trauma, right? So when it comes to counseling or when it comes to coaching, you're helping that person with their mental health during this time so they can go back out in the battlefield and deal with life, right? Mm-hmm. So to all those people that have something to say, it's know your place, know your purpose on what you're here to do. You may be the activist, right? You may be the lawmaker, you may be the educator. Know your lane, know your purpose, know what you're here to do, because we're all affecting change. That person that was celebrating their business and where their business is going and being elevated to, who's to say that they're not an employer and offering jobs to people who don't have any jobs? Don't stop them in their shine. Don't rain on their parade. Stay in your lane, know your purpose and what you're here to do. So that's how I see it. Find a coach and help them, let them help you navigate your purpose on this earth.
And that's that on that.
Just saying.
That's real. We all can't be doing the same thing. We all can't.
No. Like if there was just doctors in a hospital, who's going to care for them outside of the operating room?
Yeah.
Who's going to care for them outside of, the diagnosis, right? The doctor, they diagnose, but who's caring for them, right? That's why the nurses are important. The nursing assistants are important. The administrators are, important. The head of this department is important, right?
Yeah.
The Bible even speaks on it. So for that person, read the Bible. It tells you that we are many members, right? We are many members, but all of us are important.
Yeah.
You can't, have the head without the neck.
That'd be weird.
Where's your place?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I hate when that happens. I'm sorry.
No, don't hate it.
I've seen it, and I'm like, I don't like it. Everybody is not meant to do certain things.
Yeah.
Everybody's purpose is different.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at the beginning of all this, the beginning of this year, anyway, like, I think there was a lot of focus on like being seen doing the things. And yes, be seen doing the things, because that's a part of the whole process and a part of what systemic and systematic change actually looks like, right? There's a bunch of operational pieces that work together to make like a whole process. So yes, but like,
it's not even, I don't even think it's about those being seen, because there's always people behind the scenes that you don't see that are affecting change.
Yes.
The people on the front lines that are seen and that are visible, they help. Like, of course, they help. They are bringing awareness, right? People see them out in the street. So let me pay attention to why they're out here. Whether it's a good paying attention or, a negative one, but they're paying attention so that, the people, let's just say like the people like you and me who are behind the scenes, we can go into the door and sit down and have this conversation and
Right.
push things on the table. We're all important. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. So you talked about purpose, and purpose is literally one of my favorite topics right
Yeah.
now.
When intentional. Yes.
Like intentional, always purposed. And especially right now, kind of thinking about building businesses and building life, right? It kind of starts with did I give you the seed analogy? I feel like I did a few months ago.
I don't know. Remind me.
So flourish.
Yes, I think you did, but yes, please remind me.
Right. So the imagery of a flower or like a plant, right? Like you plant something that has intention or purpose or reason,
Right.
and then you nurture it, you create the environment for it to grow, and then it kind of grows, according to its timing and its context and a lot of other things. But you kind of start with purpose and intention.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's kind of like my huge thing for businesses right now, and for people in general, like starting with why. Remember when that was
yes. What is your why, right? Keeping that at the forefront.
What is your why? Like, I'm kind of like taking a huge like turn right back to that. So as someone who is working with people, on their butterfly process, and as they're transitioning into adulthood and into life as students and whatever, like, I feel like I'm rapping. What am I doing here? Energy.
Yeah.
What is a way that people can kind of like identify their purpose or their why? Like, how are they pulling it out of themselves to even say like, oh, that's my thing, that's me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there's two types of people that I believe. One, they know what their purpose is, but run from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then those who are still trying to figure it out. And I talked about this some years ago, and I said it's almost like a scavenger hunt, trying to figure it out, where some things are by trial and error, but they open up clues to other things. So, and I give my own life example, like I tell this story, but my purpose was discovered by failure. And then also by me being opened to a new process and me being honest. So I went to school to be a nurse. Originally, that was the plan, to be a nurse. But there was something on the inside of me that loved psychology. So I minored in that, right? And I literally flunked out of my program by 0.5. 0.5 in one class and by 1 point in another class. So altogether by 1.5. Yeah. I was 0.5 away in one course and 1 point away in another course, and I flunked out.
Yeah.
That was the failure, right? But here's this other thing that you enjoy, but you're not fully engrossed in it, right? But you always knew that people would randomly at the bus stop talk to you. You knew that, and they would tell you stuff. And you was like, I don't know you. Why do you feel compelled to tell me these things? People ask you about your advice and suggestions. When I was doing clinicals as a nurse, right? So in the rooms with the patients, I'm supposed to be checking vital signs, or just checking in to make sure they're okay. And then going into the next room with the patient, but I'm having conversations with them. I'm encouraging them and they're encouraging me. Those are clues, right? So if you keep following the clues, and not look at the failure like the life is over, but what's next. So now I'm fully engrossed in psychology, and that's my degree. As many times as I tried not to follow the clues and go back to nursing, it never worked out.
Yeah.
I landed into a job because there was an ultimatum: go back to school or go to work. The school thing wasn't happening fast enough, right? Something always was happening. The job came first as a school counselor. I felt comfortable for whatever reason telling my supervisor, my immediate supervisor, I don't know why I feel comfortable telling you this. I don't want to be a school counselor. I don't want to be a counselor. But I was open to the experience. And for 2 years, I fought it, right?
Yeah.
This natural path with all of these clues, I kept fighting it. Eventually, I gave in and I went back to school for counseling.
Yeah.
Right? And then all these other things started to fall in my lap because I was following the path of these clues, opening one up to lead me to the next path, opening this up and leading me to the next path. All a scavenger hunt, but also being aware of what's happening. And once I stopped fighting against it, all these doors just started to open up. And that's how my purpose was discovered. Scavenger hunt, just following the clues and being open to the process.
Yeah. That's so real.
Because sometimes the purpose is right in front of your face, but it may not look like, it's like a gift, right? Gift, purpose. It just may not be in the package that you thought it was going to come.
I know.
It doesn't look like what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be into counseling or, that wasn't path. I enjoyed it, but you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a nurse. But I was doing things, while in the hospital.
Yeah.
If I paid attention to it, maybe you're the person that comes on the bedside to offer words of encouragement or, help people with their mental health during this process.
Yeah.
Not so much the actual care.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yay. I love it. I super love it. Purpose talk is because it's foundational to everything. To being able to say yes to the right things and no to the right things. Like that's been one of my bigger no has become one of my favorite words. No.
It's a complete sentence.
It's a complete sentence. Like there's no explanation needed or anything. It's just, no. And I think earlier in the year, I wrote down somewhere for every progressive yes, you have a set of no's. Because it's if you're going to say yes to something, that means when other opportunities or distractions present themselves, you have to say no. But you don't even know what a progressive yes is if you don't really know your purpose.
Right.
What is progress? Right.
Really. You have to, I can't speak for everyone, but God is amazing. Right. Mm-hmm. And when you're in tune with him and he gives you this discerning spirit, it makes it easier to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. Because if it's not God ordained, I don't want it. If it's not a God yes, I don't want it. Because if I say yes to it and it should have been a no, I'm deterring my process.
Yeah.
And I could be causing more anxiety in my own life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't say no. Sometimes it's for our protection to say no. Where we like to be busy. And Lord knows we like to run around and we like to rip and run and we like to be busy. And I'm a helpful person, and I like to help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I keep helping people so much and keep saying yes to help, when do I get to say yes to me, and when do I get to say yes to God?
Right.
There's no time to say yes to me or to say yes to him, because I'm saying yes to everybody else.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering why I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why I'm shutting down to the world.
Ooh,
Because I said yes to you when it should have been no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you have to be in tune with him, and you have to be in tune with yourself.
Yeah. Seriously.
And
All these
yeah.
Right. All these yeses to everything aren't productive. Like
Right.
my husband, like every day, he's like, action is not achievement. And I'm just like, huh, okay.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like we're active, we're doing things, but like, does it produce anything?
And I think you used to say that too. Like, because before you even started doing the Flourish Talks, I used to always say talks with O, right? And you and I would have talks with O, right? And we will be quoting each other all of the time.
Yes,
and and one of the things I think you even said was, action or movement doesn't equal execution.
Oh, yeah.
Is, I think, one of the things that you said to me. And I was just like, whoa, that hurt. But it was so true. It was a good thing, but it is so true. Movement doesn't mean execution. Movement is just what it is. Movement.
Yeah. It's just movement.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Listen, and you know what? I am talking to myself as much as I'm talking to everybody else all the time. Yeah. Man, I'm about to go back into Twitter and see what we were.
I mean, if we go into our Twitter history, we'll find our talks.
I was talking to who was I talking to about the sound mind and self-discipline thing?
That was me.
Like that. Listen, that still, like, no, I was talking to someone about it today, and I was like, yo, these Chrisheena conversations, I'm telling you, but like that one stuck with me.
It was heavy. It was 2 Timothy, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And we're like, what's a sound mind? And we got another, we opened up the Bible to another translation, and it says sound mind was self-discipline. Woo!
Yeah. I was hurt.
You and me both.
I was hurt.
You and me both. I
was so hurt.
And I still look at that, like, I don't look at that scripture the same. Yeah. Yes, it helped me, you're a little fearful. All right, guys haven't given me the spirit of fear. Okay, but I look at the end of that verse, sound mind, discipline.
I was like, oh, okay, this is causal.
Exactly.
Darn. It hurt. It still hurts.
Appalled. Therapeutic silence.
Yeah, Selah, y'all. Selah. Think on these things. So, but yeah, I mean, like that's what it is. Can't just move. Have to move with purpose. Have to move with like a reason. Like you have to build with the end in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is you're one of the translations that I use, I did a group coaching session back in December with the Acuity of Vision 2020. And
2020.
yes, Acuity of Vision 2020, right? This was in December before we knew what this year was actually going to look like. And it was about creating vision for one's life, right? And one of the things that I used and that guy gave me was think of binoculars, right? When you look at binoculars, you see what's in the distance, right? As if it was right in front of your face, right? That's your vision and that's your purpose on what you're supposed to do, right? So that is the butterfly, right? That's the end. That's where we're striving to get to. But if we keep with the binoculars on and we keep focused on that, we get so much further. But too many times we take the binoculars off and we see all the hills and the valleys and the mountaintops that block our view. And instead of being the eagle, we have this pigeon mentality where we're just pecking at everything that's around us. And that's not even supposed to be where our focus is. But we keep getting distracted on what the end result is because we took off the binoculars. So instead of soaring like the eagles, we become pigeons pecking. So, I know TLC had no more scrubs and then they came back with, no pigeons, but no pigeon. We can't have a pigeon mentality.
No, pigeon.
No pigeon mentality. We need to be soaring. We need to see the end and not the stuff. Because, that's all that the devil wants, right? He knows those things that are going to knock us off when we're so close and we're on the brink of a breakthrough or on that brink of going across that threshold to, finally walk out our purpose. We're distracted. He throws everything but the kitchen sink.
Everything.
And we keep focusing on that sink. And we focus over here and we focus over there and lose focus to where we're trying to go.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants. Because if I can get you for not accomplishing your vision, if I can get you from not walking in your purpose, then that person, that's attached to your purpose won't get what they need. So let me distract you. Let me throw seeds down so you can peck.
Yo, I love that you said pigeon and not chicken. Because so I love that because the imagery of chicken, the chicken is down, it can't fly at all. The pigeon can fly, but how high can it fly?
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
he comes down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like an eagle can definitely reach higher altitudes, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're not distracted, right? And they come down for their prey and take them up to their stratosphere and where they can reach because they know that their prey can't survive up there, right?
Yeah.
But a pigeon, they may be flying, but see something and get distracted and come down. When you're doing a work, you can't come down.
Amen.
When you know your purpose, you can't come down.
Yeah.
Because somebody, and this is one of the things that there was a young man that told me this maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And this conversation being live would have freaked me out.
Yeah.
or doing any type of things would have freaked me out, even though I knew it was my purpose. But he told me I was being selfish. And I didn't. I was like, I may be the only child, I'm a little spoiled, but I'm not selfish. And he said, if you could talk or share whatever God's giving you to one person and it saved them, would you do it? And I said, yes. He said, so why aren't you doing it? So I took that, all right, don't want to be selfish. That's my challenge. But it also still goes in with your purpose. Why are you so selfish worrying about something that's non-significant when I'm attached to your purpose and I need you? It's not always about you. It's not always about us. Your purpose has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Your purpose has everything to do. That's why when we look at our why, usually your why has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with those who you're going to influence. Your why is attached to your family. Your why is attached to, creating generational wealth or, breaking generational curses or doing this for the next. Usually your why is not attached to you. Now, you may reap some of the benefits, but it has nothing to do with you.
Mm. Girl, that was so good. Shanika was like, "This is good, but I have to get back to work." And your mom
I can't tell. Like, I can see it just says, like, on my end, it just says Facebook user.
No.
But who was that? You said it was Shanika?
Yeah, Shanika. And your mom.
It
was like facts.
Hey, sis.
I love it. Oh my gosh, girl. So this has been quite a conversation.
I feel like we're back to, like, it feels like the old stuff, right? Before, this existed, the Be Live and all that, the intimate talks with O. That's what it feels like.
I'm always down for those, like I'm always here for them. Seriously. So like right now in a world of like you doing things and supporting other people, how are you taking care of yourself?
No is good.
She said no. Simple.
I've learned to say no. Like somebody just said, oh, you just make sure that they don't keep you. I said, I know what no means. And if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. That's one.
Yeah.
And creating, like, just making sure I had that alone time.
Yeah.
And to make sure, I have my my little self-care evenings that I do for me. And they're like the best hour, the best 2 hours, and I feel so rejuvenated the next day. So I make sure I do that. That's usually a Saturday evening. I take that time for me. And then also, I just really been in my word.
Yeah.
And I may have slipped off sometimes, but I don't just like to just read the Bible or read the daily scripture that come up on my Bible app. Like, I like pen and paper and listening to what he has to say. And I like setting the atmosphere with worship music in the back. And it just literally starts my day. Like, I didn't have anything scheduled prior to this conversation today. And from about 8:30 till about 11:30, and I said, oh, I need to get myself together. I was literally in Bible study, in my word, watching, some encouragement and some preaching before I said, oh, I need to get ready because, 1 o'clock will be here before you know.
Yeah.
So other than that, just checking in with my tribe.
I'm into it. I love it.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing you can kind of leave this lovely busy girls brunch group with, I know. Sorry.
So much. So much.
Drink some water, stay hydrated.
Right. Oh goodness. I mean, we touched on so many things, but I would guess it would be okay with discovering and walking in your purpose. Because like that comment that person left, and that, you know, that business owner's you know, message or their post, that could have deterred her off her course.
Ooh.
And then she wouldn't be able to do what she was meant to do for others. Right? Be okay with knowing your purpose and living that out. Because you are on the battleground too. Your position in the army is just a little bit different than somebody else's, but you still matter. You're still important, and what you have to offer is still effective.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that's it.
Girl. All right. You know, I love you so much.
I love you.
You know, you're one of the people of my heart. And thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And it's funny because we've been trying to like plot this for months, literally. And it's weird, right? But timing is perfect. Because I feel like this is the conversation we should be having now. And I'm super grateful for you. And
I love you.
Love you so much.
And we had internet.
Before the storm hit, like, I don't know what's going to happen with my internet after the next storm. But, you know, hey, Texas. All good. But, girl, I love you so much. I'm going to let you go and stay on. I'm going to talk to you later. Okay. Where can people find you, bro? Like,
here on Facebook, Coach Chrisheena Lynn on Facebook. Also on Instagram, they can find me at Chrisheena Lynn. Twitter is Chrisheena Lynn. Also, not just that, but if they have, if you know any high schoolers who are, want to prep for college, they can also see it's I_C_U_edu for, college prep and mentorship.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, thank you so much. Y'all, if you need to go through your butterfly process, or need to help in this transition in their processes, like please get in touch with Chrisheena. She is also in the group. So if you are, in here, feel free to tag her and reach out. I'll put her information in the comment section. And yeah, so girl, thank you.
Thank you. This was fun.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So that conversation was a lot. Definitely, there was so much information, and it was beautiful. Just the idea of like, no matter what's happening in the world around you, kind of recognizing the purpose that we have, and focusing on that. I love the imagery of the binoculars and the eagles, and really just like kind of staying focused in that way. So grateful for Chrisheena once again for being here. Grateful for you for sticking around and watching this interview and being here from last week to this week, and through all the difficulties and just building with us, right? Consistency. It's not straight up and down like that. It's keeping going in the hills and valleys. That's what it is. So I just wanted to let you know, I finally finished my our course on how to build a business. How does it make money is what it's called. So it's a course for people who are product or service providers who have really started. You're out there hustling, but you need to create structure for your business and understand who your dream client is, what you're really selling them, your clear cash concept, and also where money is going and how it's coming in your business so that you can have a business and not a hobby, guys. Like, we're here to make money, we're here to sustain, we're here to grow. And you can't do that if you don't have your business model and your business plan together. So if you go to wintentional.co, it is the How Does It Make Money course. Scroll down, get it. It's only $37. It also comes with a 48-page workbook to help you go through the whole process. I'll put the information in the comment section as well. And you know what? If you love it, let me know. Like, if you get it, let me know. Please, I want to see who this is helping. This is for anybody who is trying to win. Winning is for everybody. We just need to create the plans for it. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you again for being here. You're amazing. You're wonderful. And I can't wait to see you next week and in the group. See ya.